Honestly, my motivation to get into trading was quite negative when I started out. And the reason why is I'd actually had I'd had a very successful first business, but my second business didn't do so well. And we essentially went to the wall. We didn't go bankrupt. We didn't go away owing lots of people money, but the process that we were putting in place didn't work. So we were trying to build this gadget that would work in the health and fitness industry. And at the time, I was in quite a bit of debt. My business partner had remortgaged his house. And at that point, he decided he didn't want to go any further. And at the time, and I remember Narain will probably know this story, at the time, I was pretty angry and frustrated because I wanted to carry on with this business. And for me, it was like, okay, I'm beholden to my business partner's decision. Now, with the benefit of hindsight, which you never have at the time, I can look back and it was probably the wise decision to call it quits at that point, because some big guys came in and essentially did what we were doing, but did it a lot better. But at the time I was like, right, I want to do something and be involved in something that doesn't have any reliance on anybody else. Can any of you guys listening relate to that? So at the time I was like, I don't want to go into business where I am dictated to, or not dictated to, but I have to basically get agreement with a business partner. So it was actually what drove me to start trading was actually more pain motivation than I would say positive motivation. And at the time I happened to be part of an investment club. And within that investment club, we used to meet, it was down in Reading. We used to meet once a month and between 20 of us try and decide what shares we were going to buy. And basically we spend 3 hours deciding what shares we were going to buy. And then basically probably once a month, we probably place one position. So I found it a bit slow. I liked the idea of being in the investment club, but one of the guys there was actually a trader. He was a part-time trader and he was going through the process of going full time. So I spent a little bit of time with him and then I wanted to learn more about options. So I went out to Las Vegas at the time and went on a training course out there. First training course, if you add in the cost of flights and everything like that, was probably in the region of about $3.5, $4 grand. And that was the basic course on options, because back then you didn't have the advantage of the internet, or you did, but it was dial up. So it was very much, if you wanted to learn, you went out and you did live events. So it makes 197 for our kickstart for 28 days seem like a steal. So yeah, it was a basics option course. So I started out trading what's called covered calls and put and call options. Don't trade those anymore because spread betting came along and leverage trading through CFDs came along. And that's what I ended up then focusing on, because it became much easier. Because with options, you've got to be able to get chart direction right, but also timing right. But with spread betting and CFD trades, it's more about the timing. So that's how I got into it. So my kind of motivation was to be doing something myself that was purely reliant on my own performance. Cool.